Back in time, 20 or 30 years ago, when you need to find out more information, you have to run to the public library, spending hours locked upon reference book for any subject that needed. However, what we take for granted nowadays is that we can sit or even stand at practically with any devices in our hand at anywhere on the planet. But wait, are you surfing the web? Do you do blogging? Do you realize that you are currently using the World Wide Web? But first of all, the World Wide Web is not an internet. The internet is simply the way computers connect to each other in order to share information. When internet first emerged, computers actually made the direct call to each other. Today, networks is all around us, and computers can communicate seamlessly. The internet is simply the underlying plumbing that conveys data for all of these different applications and documents. But the most common use is accessing to the World Wide Web. World Wide Web, by name the Web, is the leading information retrieval service of the Internet. The Web gives users access to a vast array of documents that are connected to each other by means of hypertext or hypermedia link, also known as hyperlink. Hyperlinks is an electronic connection consists of text or images that when you click on it, and they will jump to you another pages. This hyperlink form a huge web of interconnected information, which is where the whole thing gets its name. Tim Berners-Lee, the father of the World Wide Web, understood that we need a way to organize the information that mirror this natural arrangement. The development of the World Wide Web was begun in 1989 by Tim Berners-Lee and his colleague at CERN, an international scientific organization based in Geneva, Switzerland. They created a protocol known as Hypertext Transfer Protocol (HTTP), which standardized communication between servers and clients. Their text-based web browser was made available for general release in January 1992. The World Wide Web gained rapid acceptance with the creation of a web browser called Mosaic, which was developed in the United States by Mark Andreessen and others at the National Center for Supercomputing Application at the University of Illinois in 1993. Mosaic is the first browser that allowed people using the web to use the same sort of point-and-click graphical manipulation to be embedded alongside the text. By the mid-1990s, the World Wide Web already had millions of active users and thousands of different pages. The web today is a growing universe of interlinked web pages and web apps, teeming with the videos, photos, and interactive content. What the average user doesn't see is the interplay of web technologies and browsers that makes all this possible. Over time, web technologies have evolved to give web developers the ability to create new generations of useful and immersive web experience. Since the establishment of the World Wide Web in 1990s, the web have evolved according to the time frame into three phases, which is Web 1.0, Web 2.0, and Web 3.0, and it is still ongoing. Web 1.0 refers to the first stage in the World Wide Web, which was entirely made up of web pages connected by hyperlinks. Although the exact definition of Web 1.0 is a source of debate, it is generally believed to be referred as a read-only web that were not yet providing interactive content. In Web 1.0, applications were also generally proprietary. Web 1.0 referred as a syntactic web in era of 1990 to 2000s. Web 2.0 is an upgraded version of generation in the development of the World Wide Web around in era 2000 to 2010. It is conceived as a combination of concepts, trends, and technologies that focus on user collaboration, sharing of user-generated content, and social networking. In this era, every user can be a content producer and the content is distributed and shared between the sites. Along the way up to Web 3.0, there is another phase of web evolution, which is Web 2.5. Generally, Web 2.5 is focusing on mobile computing and evolution in mobile technologies. As we all know, mobile computing plays a major role in engaging larger audience via native apps as well as mobile web apps.
Web3 is sort of the goal of many in the decentralization ecosystem, or one of the major goals. Web3 arises from this notion or understanding that the Web 2 world, or the internet world, the internet protocols, the Web 1 world, the Web 1 protocols, and the same for Web 2, have served the world.
Based on what Joe Lubin has explained, we can simplify that. The Web 3.0, also referred as the evolution of web utilization and interaction, which includes altering the web into a database. Web 3.0, also known as semantic web, which refer to the future of the web. The concept of this web are read, write, and execute is this era of 2010 and above. We must argue no more, as the more advanced the technology is, the more technology issues have arisen. As for the internet, it has changed how the world works, even in our daily life. Here is one of the most concerned issues all over the world: the horizon of the dark web. But first of all, the internet can break down into three separate categories, which are the surface web, the deep web, and the dark web. This internet browsing is taking place on a layer of the top of the internet called surface web. This web is everything that we all use in daily life, from a YouTube or any social media. Guess what? Online banking, government database, pages with encrypted password are all lies under the surface web. Moving to the deeper layers of the internet is the deep web. This web refers to the content on the internet that is not indexed by search engines. It is more like anything that you can't find on Google or other search engines. It is technically lies on the deep web. Their contents includes anything behind a paywall or requires a sign-in credential. It is also any content that have been blocked web crawlers from indexing by its owner. Think of any medical records or financial data are some of the examples that are lies in the deep web. In reality, the deep web is the most massive part of the internet, and it consists of 69% of the internet is on the deep web. At the deepest layers of the internet lies the dark web. In the dark web, users communicate through encrypted messages and have full authority in buying or selling anything with completely anonymity. The dark web is known as Wild West of the internet, because operating here is the shadows or extremists, criminals, and trolls. It was a heaven place of drug dealers, spies, hackers, and even human traffickers. The dark web is used for keeping internet activity anonymous and private, which can be helpful in both illegal and legal applications. In order to utilize it, you need a darknet software that serves encryption and de-anonymization. For example, Tor, the Onion routing project, is a network browser that provides users access to explore websites with the .onion registry operator. This browser makes it possible for anyone to dive in the dark web if they are interested. This browser is a service that is originally developed by the United States Naval Research Laboratory in purpose of to hide spy communications around 1990s. Tor web browser looks like a normal one and seems to behave like one too. Through Tor, you can freely visit any sites that you are interested. Unlike normal web browser, Tor joins the request to enter the sites via several computers around the world by encrypting and decrypting the identification as it goes so that no one knows where the request has come from. In here, the operations are pretty similar to black markets, selling or brokering transactions for both illegal and legal activities, or ethical or unethical. Anything that you struggle to find are accessible in here, from rare drugs, stolen credit cards, counterfeit money, pornography, or even guns and weapons. Anything, you name it. So, what do you think? Do you think that the evolution of the web have bring the harmony to our society or doom? Well, the question remains whether internet freedom and privacy, for legitimate and sometimes life-saving reasons, are worth protecting, while this vast criminal underworld operates alongside it, inside the dark web.